This was our third day on the surface of Kepler 186f, a planet that was supposed to be our new home away from home. My name is Nikolai Aurelano and I am an engineer in this first extrasolar expedition. We had new challenges ahead and we had new solutions for those challenges. As an engineer of this expedition, my team relied on my skills to build new constructions. Today was a new day. Welcome to What the Math. On the third day, I noticed that many of us were not so happy anymore. A lot of us were concerned about our situation, and a lot of us realized that we're going to be stuck here for many weeks before even the first expedition arrives to replace us. We needed to build new constructions and we had to focus on food. The few plants that we've planted on this planet were not doing so well, and we had to fix this problem quick because this was our food. If we wanted to eat, we needed to figure this out and figure it out immediately. Although there was some good news as well. Nobody got sick and we finally had our sick bay set up and ready for operations. We just needed to create a few medicinal plants to help us just in case someone gets sick, and we needed to have our doctor ready to perform his duty. And I think it's important to introduce our doctor, Luis Figueroa. Originally, Luis was from Portugal, and he decided to sign up for this expedition because he wanted to make his family proud. Practicing medicine on Earth was not enough for Luis, so he decided to do it in outer space, on other planets. We were lucky enough to have him in our expedition, but he started to become upset with our situation. It was not easy to survive on this planet, and it was only our third day. We've already faced a lot of problems and we've realized how dangerous this planet really is. We had to rely on each other and we had to make sure that we work as a team if we were to survive here. I've decided that it was time for us to construct some sort of a mine so that we can actually start extracting metal from this planet. Its red color was most likely due to all of the iron on the surface and inside the ground, so we had to find a way to extract it. Luckily, with my knowledge from Earth, I knew exactly what to do. I've decided to place the mine right here so that we can actually connect it to the rest of the base. Using modern NASA technology with expandable alloys and modular components, we were able to construct the mine in only 4 hours. And because of this, we were able to achieve self-sufficiency. This colony was now able to sustain and maintain itself, and we've had everything we needed to survive. But on the fourth day, we all started to feel it. We were stuck inside this base 24/7. We had to find a way to distract ourselves. I've decided to construct something akin to a gym or a place for us to exercise and to do a little bit more physical activity. And of course, having physical comforts like food and drink was great, but it was also about maintaining our mental health. We needed to make sure that not only do we have enough food to eat, but we also have a place for us to exercise and to forget that we are actually in the middle of nowhere, 490 light years away from Earth. On the fifth day, we've all made a collective decision to build a multi-dome, a place for us to relax, to do a little bit of physical exercise, and to remember home. But unfortunately, I also realized that we're running low on parts and we needed to figure something out. I've decided it was actually a good idea for us to try to recycle the spaceship. Having spent a few hours deconstructing the ship, I was able to salvage it for quite a lot of metal and various other materials. But after 5 days of hard work, our bot started to break. I needed to fix all of them and do it quickly because without their help, we would not have such an easy time on this planet. Luckily, my skills as an engineer came in handy because it was not very difficult to fix these metallic friends that were always eager to help us. And after only a few hours of maintenance, both bots were back in action and helping us at their full capacity. And at the end of the fifth day, we were able to construct our little exercise room that we all started to enjoy from then on. It was not very big, but it had enough for us to relax and to forget our sorrows and possibly even to make this place feel a little bit more like home. At the end of the fifth day, we were all absolutely exhausted. Most of us just crashed in our beds and fell asleep. But those of us who had still some energy left decided to do a bit of maintenance work and make sure that our plants are growing fine and will provide us with enough food for the next week. While sitting in our new multi-dome, one of the workers, Shane, had a brilliant idea. He decided that we may need to construct something else. We may want to make a factory so that we can actually produce more goods and then expand our base even further. That was a very good idea, and I knew exactly what had to be built. I've decided that on the 6th day we're going to focus on constructing a factory. Using the factory we'll be able to construct all of the components that we'll need, and specifically we might even be able to construct spare parts for our robots and for our equipment. That was a really close landing. We need to really be careful with these meteorites. Next time it may actually crash one of our robots, or even worse, one of us. But unfortunately there was no technology for us to use so we could protect ourselves. The only thing we can hope for is that these meteorites will avoid us or will smack into the mountains near us. The 6th day began and we started working on our factory. I also realized that we may need to start producing more energy because our power collector was running really low this night. We may need to produce another collector and possibly another pair of solar panels. I've decided to place both in the same region where everything else was, because this area had quite a lot of wind for our turbines and also quite a lot of sunlight for our solar collectors. All of us were working hard around the clock trying to construct the base as quick as possible and trying to add more modules to it. Everyone realized that without electricity our base will not be able to function, so we all focused on producing both the collector and the new solar panel. After only 2 hours on day 6, we were able to construct a much larger power collector that would be able to store quite a lot of energy. And by afternoon, whatever this means on this planet, we were able to construct the second solar panel. It functioned perfectly and would be able to provide us with a lot more energy. And after only 7 hours, our factory was complete. We've placed 3 workshops in here in order to produce not only spare parts, but also weapons and semiconductors. We didn't really know if we would need weapons, but it's better be safe than sorry. When we were sent to this planet, a lot of other corporations were not happy that ours was the first. It's very likely that we might have opponents visiting us sometime in the future, and we have to be prepared and be ready to defend ourselves. Semiconductors were essential for the production of most things that required a little bit of computing power, specifically any kind of microchip. So if we wanted to produce more robots, or if we wanted to produce something a little bit more complex, we would need to find a way to make our own semiconductors. And lastly, the spare parts were essential for us because without them our base would fall apart. We were finally able to construct all of these parts, and on the end of the day 6 I decided to try to make one simple semiconductor. Even though I was really sleepy and even though it was time to go to bed, I wanted to finish working on the semiconductor because I wanted to see if it actually works. The night has fallen quite quickly and I was still working after 3 hours. But as the work progressed, I realized that I may actually succeed and make my first semiconductor ever. I didn't tell anyone that I didn't know how to make them, but I was able to complete the work. The semiconductor was ready and I was absolutely exhausted. I was ready to go to bed, so I headed for the bunks. This was the end of day 7 and the base was growing really fast. On the next day, I've decided it was time for us to try something new, something that nobody has ever done before. What we're going to do, you'll find out in the next part. Thank you so much for watching and game you later. Bye bye.